Hey everybody, this is Rob Gauthier. Welcome back to another weekly Galactic channeling. I want to welcome all of you guys back. I hope you've been enjoying the weekly uploads. We also have weekly live streams, and a lot of people don't catch it if they're not in the live tab. But I want to share a little bit about this next channeling. I think it's really good. If you haven't caught the first Galactic channeling, yes, they are back, and yes, we're trying to do them weekly, and we will as long as the energy supports it. One of the things that's exciting about the Galactic weekly channeling is that we have the opportunity to get all these different types of information, perspectives, and energies from these beings, and a lot of them come to us not knowing a lot about humans. Some of them come by knowing tons about humans, but for whatever reason they've chosen to spoke. And I know Aridif is a good spokesman for me and reaches out to these beings, Treb 2, and is like, hey, why don't you talk to him? Last week with the Reptilian being was actually a very good example of that. It's like, I don't even care about humans. I'm only doing this so I could talk to this Aridif character. So they're really good at doing that, and they're really good at getting these beings to come in and chat with us. I think it's a beautiful gift, and I hope you guys do too. This one specific race right now is a very different type of being than we've connected with. This being was described as a humanoid, aquatic, reptilian hybrid, even though the being himself says that's not particularly accurate, but it's a very cool mixture of energies. And I think that this being is pretty new to humans, and it shows in the conversation, but I think it's a really great conversation. And I want you guys to enjoy this channeling. Now, if you want to hear more about our Patreon, you can hang out after the channeling. If not, enjoy the channeling. And even if so, enjoy the channeling. I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us. And again, the reminder that all of us people who do YouTube do, if you like, if you subscribe, if you comment, and if you turn your notifications on through your subscription, it really does help the channel grow. So if you love what we're doing here and want other people who normally wouldn't be able to see it, the YouTube algorithm gods are on our side. All you got to do is click that extra subscribe key or leave a comment or a like. Whatever you do to support us, no matter what it is, we appreciate. And even if you don't do any of those things, we're glad you're here. We love you guys, and we hope you enjoy what's next. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Greetings to all, this is Aridif, that is Aridif, and this is its spell. We understand that all of you desire to reintegrate into your galactic channeling conversations, but before diving in to these queries and conversations, we first must express the one thing that we have always shared. First, above and beyond all things that are expressed in this day, to know, to feel, and to perceive that you are loved in our perspective is of the utmost importance, and we wish to express the second thing that we have always shared, that is that this is our greatest excitement, not only in this moment, but within each moment in which we co-create from all of you at a singular level, independently, creating one upon one with our own consciousness, but as well as co-creating collectively in that attribute, consciousness as well. Now, before diving into this construct further, we must elaborate about who we will bring forward to speak to you in this way, co-creating with a humanoid and an amphibious reptilianoid construct. We will co-create with a race that when you look to your own skies in the Leo constellation, at a star between the third and seventh brightest star, approximately at the midpoint between those stars, several thousand light years, over 11,800 to be more precise, a construct that is embedded within that area is a small red dwarf star, and upon this red dwarf star, the race that call themselves Lal-Te-EL will be connecting with you. Now, of course, we will connect directly with them, let them have a conversation for you, as they have recently just explored co-creating with human consciousness. One moment we will connect you. Welcome, humans, welcome. We welcome ourselves to you. human language in English is a very fun translation, so I will share to you in the best words that I can choose at the flow of this human who has been quite practiced, but it still represents a very different type of conversation than we've had. We have already translated the thought through the minds of Indian beings who exist speaking Hindi, and we have existed speaking to South American beings speaking Portuguese. This is the first human interaction where we are working with a being who speaks English, and this will be a very fun experience for us and for you. Now, given the introduction that Aridif brings and says that yes, we are reptilian, amphibian, humanoid hybrid, this is not so accurate. We have no known ancestors that would be related to humans, and have no known ancestors that are reptilian. But the way that you can perceive from some of the earth animals that we have drawn from the minds of other humans we have spoken to, this would be as close of a representation that would be possible. So, we will share with you some things. First, our society is very new to humans. We have only known about humans for 6 years. We have known about them through meeting a group of beings that come from the star system that you call Arcturus. And with the Arcturian beings we have connected with, they told us a story about a race of beings who had some of their DNA, and who had a very different way of living. Now, we have developed interplanetary communication many times, and we have done so for the benefit of our race and other races that we have met. Most of these beings are humanoid, or they are reptilian in their lineage. And that lineage is brought to our understanding as archetypes that are consistent and are widespread through the galaxy. And yes, the beings that we have spoken to, the Arcturians, are humanoid also. And they introduced us to 3 different races directly. One of them is another humanoid race, another is a reptilian human hybridized race, and another is a very different archetype than humans have seen. These beings are not formed in the bipedal or any of the archetypes that have met human beings before. These beings are large mass and extraordinarily wide and very small to the ground in stature. They would appear to you as an ovular shape at the edge of the oval, a very small part, only standing 1 meter in height and 17 meters in width. They are not gelatinous, but that is a word that this human's mind would use best to describe the texturization of what these beings would be. And these beings do not hold a permanent shape, but have an elasticity to them. The elasticity would be their way to move. Being able to move is an indication of these beings' ability to transport themselves, but they are very highly psychic, and now have used technology to help them with transportations, where myself or Arcturian beings would walk within 2 legs
where some insectoids would walk with multiples of legs. These beings would simply hover in their technology, but before technology would scooch some of their body forward, and then the other would follow from the transition of the kinetic energy within their body, and this would be their movement center. These beings we have met personally, but hearing about humans gave us another opportunity to connect with these beings, all three as also Arcturian beings, and learn how to extend our own telepathy past only the hundreds of light years our telepathy is based within. We have distance-based telepathy, and there is a reason for that. The evolution that we are within is translatable to an old system that humans are starting to use, but many races in the galaxy no longer use, and that is a density. And this density, with your calculatable numbers, would be a fourth. And in the fourth density, we are beyond knowing that our collective group is attached. We are all communicating effortlessly. We are telepathically communicating with one another in larger numbers, and also have been integrated with more consciousness than what we had before we gathered our collective into a group of one. And with this new telepathy, we are working stronger to build more access to more consciousness. We only understand telepathy differently than the Arcturians did, and when the Arcturians described their own telepathy, it gave us some distribution differences in the way that our telepathy works. We can start connecting to our local grid systems upon our planet and the electromagnetic grid system in our solar system, and start linking those to other solar systems. Then we expand beyond that, where before learning this technique, we could only use telepathy upon planet, and when we would go near other planets, then we would have, within 5 light years, their systems be able to start communicating with them. But now we are expanding. We are at over 200 light years right now from our own planetary base, where simply 20 years ago we were only at 400, and we perceive that we will be able to make 10,000 light years by the end of millennium, and this will drastically produce ourselves many more beings to speak to. With our limited communication outside of our planet, I wanted to share this with you. We hear that you are a race that is similar in timing of evolution in the old scale of densities, and with this density of yours being fairly equal to ours, you're still not developed that way. You still have not learned to communicate oneness with each other. You still have not learned to be at peace with each other. You have not learned to turn on your telepathy and communicate better. So an example of why that doesn't happen is that humans are with systems designed by many other beings, including other humans, that stress an importance of separating yourselves. Let me say that when you find yourself at the hardest time that your entire planet can come to, this will be a place where optionally, instead of driving divisions further, you can start using to bring yourselves together. And before that may happen, you will have opportunities in your smaller community settings quadrants of planet, perhaps, or land masses that are united, these types of things can go a very long way by simply understanding the things that are difficult for that part of the planet and start trying to work together on them. As I say this, the Arcturian beings, we always say it is more complex than you can perceive. That is hard for humans because their division lies further. And have explained to us before the regional restrictions and regional divisions, but it is a lot to learn. So try this instead. When you are clustered in groups of several humans, units of family that are genetically related to you, try to find peace between all of you. Every single human that you have relation to genetically, try to start liking them and finding a way to serve a singular purpose. Then after that, try to communicate with humans who are migrating near your living region in your own personal space. 1 kilometer in every direction, trying to meet those amounts of humans. Now we are also being told that for some humans, 1 kilometer in every direction could be thousands of beings in tightly compacted areas of your planet, but that is a lot. So try with several hundred and then several thousand. And the more that you do this, the easier you'll see it can become if you can try to find a purpose, a reason that all of you can find commonality. This is something that was important for me to share, and I invite humans to reach out to us. And reaching out to us can be very simple. If you know Arcturian beings, then connect with them and have them help guide them to us. My identity is desired to be known. I did not know that one singular being would be as important as a whole planet and race I just told you about, of our own race. That is fine. It is weird, but it is fine. My own name is Scech-Shchem, and it is a welcoming moment. Thank you for having a communication for similar needs. Yes, bye. I wanted to thank everyone in our Patreon who helped support me have the free time to do the extra channeling here. If you're interested, go to ET Whisper Patreon, which is patreon.com/ETWhisper. $22 a month, you get access to 2 different channelings per month. One where everyone sends in ideas, we put it in a poll and vote for it. The second is a Q&A. Everyone sends in their questions and their desire of Aridif or Treb answering it, and then we ask the questions, and then we go through them randomly, and whoever's questions get picked goes there. So if you want to be a part of that to get access to that extra stuff, and you want to help support us get more content out on YouTube, the link is in the description. Love you guys. Thank you guys for your support, and I'll see you on the other side.